What does it really mean to live for yourself? With this question in mind, I went back to where my story began. Not my hometown, but the home of my parents and their parents before them. When I landed, it felt like crossing into an alternate version of my life. The one I might have lived if my parents hadn't boarded that plane in the 80s. I didn't expect to find so much beauty in that every day. In laughter and shared meals with family, in sunlight on laundry waving in the wind, in the dusty trinkets my grandma had kept safe for decades. She had kept things that I've forgotten. It still makes me emotional. Living again with my mom and grandma, as an adult, let me finally see them. Their quiet strength, their imperfections, and their sacrifice. Our collectivist values, family, resilience, and harmony, are beautiful parts of who we are. But somewhere along the way, these ideals tangled with wounds, the aftershocks of colonialism, of survival. I realize so many of my struggles in the Western world are rooted in this tension between honoring my roots and growing beyond them. To honor tradition or seek my own joy. To fulfill family expectations or embrace freedom. To redefine strength and success on my own terms. I knew it was time to let go of what no longer served. It's almost 1 a.m. on the night of a full moon, and surprise, I can't sleep. And meanwhile, I'm having so many thoughts that are just spilling over, so I figure I might as well take this time and get some of that down and just talk about my experience so far in China, and hopefully some of that might resonate with you. I was born and grew up in Canada. I've been to China a handful of times, but the most recent time was about 6 years ago, and this is the longest time I've spent here. In the past, it's always been go, 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 going to different destinations, etc. And so this time, I'm having the opportunity to meet with more family and friends, kind of like people who I've never met before. It's been a really beautiful experience, but also like extremely triggering, because right now I'm going through a period of a lot of uncertainty. I recently quit my job about 6 months ago, and I'm trying to figure out what life I want to build and how I want things to be and like start building it. So much of that for anyone who's taken this path before, the path less traveled, taken this time of pause to figure out what you want your life to look like. So much of that work is internal. It's in mindset, it's in belief, it's in the shadow work. It's in taking stock of what is and is not working for you and shifting that internally so that that can show in your external world. And here in China, I feel like a lot of it is rooted in trauma, but people here really value security, having a stable job at a large company, material things like brands, like your income, appearances, like external validation. Like all of this is the fuel that I just see so many people running off of. And that's like whenever I quit my job, like that's what I decided to unplug myself from, almost like life support, like taking myself off of that and learning to breathe and walk and fuel myself again. And I'm still going through the process of figuring out what my purpose is. So it's like, the plug has been pulled, but at the same time, I'm still looking for my new fuel. It's been almost 2 weeks now that I've been back. As a collective right now, we're all going through a very sensitive time. That's a very specific example, but being from Canada and just everything that's been going on in the world, a lot of us might be feeling extra sensitive right now. And I was reminded of that today, just kind of to fall back to my routine. And I watched this full moon visualization video by one of my favorite creators. Her name is Sarah Verba. If you haven't checked her out, she does these incredible videos on astrology. She uses tarot in her work as well, and it's really beautiful, supportive, and just like such a soft place to land. I also did a yoga nidra video on YouTube, and that was 30 minutes, just like the first one I found online. That combo, along with a little bit of journaling, like completely shifted where I was. And being caught in that my state before these practices, being in that triggered place of fear and like projecting that mind state and that energy into my entire future, versus where I am now, like so much more grounded and able to see things more clearly. It's like, wow, how important it is for us right now to be taking care of ourselves, our nervous systems, our bodies, because that really is where everything else flows from, like our perception of our world, our interactions with our loved ones. I'm here for one more week before I do a little bit more traveling throughout China, which I'm so excited for, but I really want to make the most of my time here with my grandma and my mom, and like just being in that triggered state. I noticed myself being more short and like just being less of a good person to be around. So I'm just so grateful for these practices, and I'm going to link both videos that I talked about below in the description box in case it resonates with anybody else. But yeah, this is just your reminder that if you're feeling a little low, if the well of hope is running a little dry, just tend to yourself, tend to your body, whatever that might look like for you. For me, it's like nothing beats yoga, like a nice slow practice of yoga. But for you, it might be going for a run, like anything. Tend to your body, tend to your nervous system and your mind. This is something that I've only learned in recent years. Like I didn't have any practice that calmed my nervous system, and this has like been the biggest game changer in changing my outlook and just everything. So I thank yoga for that. Once you shift your mind state, then you'll have a better approach to your problems. During this time, I've also been trying to make a really big decision in my life, and it's been like quite paralyzing. While I was caught in that place of fear and anxiety and just being triggered, trying to decide whether or not I want to continue with teaching yoga in Australia for 3 weeks at a retreat center. It's gonna be me in a new country, creating my own classes, and like guiding people who are there to heal and rest and relax. And like that's kind of my dream. And the whole ethos of this journey I'm taking, from more traditional Western medicine to holistic healing. And this is, strangely enough, like this past week, I've been really doubting that, like trying to back out of it essentially, just because I was in this mindset of just really not being comfortable with where I am in life, essentially thinking about getting another 9 to 5, which is like totally not what I want to do. So it's just crazy now looking back at where I was like literally hours ago in terms of mindset versus where I am now after taking this time for myself and doing these practices. So just another reminder how important it is for future you that you take care of yourself now. I'm really excited to take you along on the journey. We'll talk soon. On this trip, I experienced the world where so many of our beliefs first took root, even as it continues to evolve. I stood beneath ancient wishing trees and giant Buddhas, dined at old Dai Pai dongs frozen in time, got lost in the vibrant chaos of local markets, and reconnected with families across years and oceans. To any second-generation immigrants, if you get the chance, go back. Rediscover your roots. It will change you. Coming home helped me honor the parts of myself I once tried so hard to erase. It reminded me I am never, ever alone. I don't need to be everything for everyone. I just need to be true to myself and trust that what remains will be enough. Maybe living for yourself doesn't mean choosing between worlds. Maybe it means standing in both with an open heart and letting your story take shape from everything that you carry.